The government wants to take the guns away from law-abiding citizens and patriots, but they're not fighting to take the guns away in Chicago. Why is that? Because they want them to wipe each other out. That's the easiest population control you could think of. And
Easy.
people aren't
Yep.
seeing this. People aren't seeing this. They're pandering the people in Chicago that are running the streets, killing each other to vote their way. All the while, they're letting them kill each other. And people are not seeing this. They don't care about you. They want your vote. But if you're dead, as well as we learned from last year, they're still going to use your name to vote. Welcome to Unified.tv, where truth has no fear. I am here with Jenny of Red Pill Rage. We're talking about a historian, political educator, conservative party girl. She has a background in hospitality, as do I. So we can definitely talk on that another topic. But yeah, I know all about hospitality. And she actually watched the radical left force their agenda on every industry you could think of. So, but if you don't know about Jenny, you should, because she reaches the world through her YouTube channel. She uses comedy and detailed research to change the liberal hearts and support patriots of all backgrounds. So there's definitely no bias there. Um, and if you haven't seen her there, then you've seen her somewhere. Maybe Diamond and Silk. They featured one of her viral videos on there. Tommy Robinson, censored.tv, Alex Truth. I'm sorry, Axe Truth. Nick DiPaulo and Chad Prather. So she has been seen. So I'm definitely honored for her to be seen on Unified.tv. So this is definitely a privilege, major privilege. So let's welcome Jenny of Red Pill Rage.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. It's nice to talk to you. I know you've been a big supporter of my channel and you're doing your thing on Instagram and I respect it. So I wanted to collaborate with you too.
No, I appreciate it. No, you're doing me a huge favor. Because I'm trying to build. So I appreciate you saying I'm doing my thing. And Instagram is going well. I'm trying to branch out a little bit. So I just opened my Facebook and that's going well. I just need those numbers to translate to YouTube. I need people to subscribe and watch there. It's going, but it's going a little slower. So one day I'll be on your level. So but I
I'm
appreciate you doing it.
nobody. I'm nobody. I'm nobody. I know everybody, but I'm nobody.
You're
YouTube is
you're
hard
somebody
work.
to someone, and
Thank you.
I definitely think highly of you. Honestly,
Thank
you're
you.
amazing.
The YouTube is tricky right now because with the algorithms, with um, their ability to trace your IP address, the censorship, it's really hard right now. And especially because of COVID, YouTube in general, not just in the political space, not just in the social and economic and cultural space, but in all spaces, it's become so oversaturated with content and it's so hard to get it out there. So I respect what you're doing. Keep doing what you're doing, and you're right to want to branch out on all platforms because I know YouTubers that have amassed a huge following. 10,000 followers, 30,000 followers, 180,000 followers, and you know what? They didn't branch out. So when their YouTube channels got dropped, and all of the videos, the entire repertoire gets deleted, they have to build over new someplace else. So I think it's really important, I do TikTok videos. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Gab. I'm on Parlor. I'm on News Clapper. Like I have two or three profiles everywhere. So I want to. It's hard. It's time consuming. But Instagram is a great way to start. TikTok will get your name and your face out there very quickly to a lot of people. So don't be afraid to use TikTok. Use a burner phone if you're concerned about China.
Have you made your way
um,
over to Getter yet?
Getter?
Yeah,
No, I'm not. I think Chandler Crump has a Getter profile.
yeah. I think I'm hearing that's the one that Trump started, or he's a big supporter of, or something. I just made mine a couple of days ago. I mean, the ease of use is already catchy for me. It's super simple to post. It posts fast, and there's already some significant people on there like Bongino and David Harris Jr. and Candace Owens, and I'm not sure if that's the real Melania Trump, but if it is, if she's on there,
Cool, cool.
it's definitely worth it.
Sure, sure.
But
Well,
we
that's
had a
something we can work on together, cross
yeah,
promote on everything.
yeah, for sure. Hey, definitely. Because I need some marketing tips and so definitely I need positive feedback or any kind of feedback on how I can reach more. And I'm sure you'd be honest enough to tell me. But we had actually there was something that there was a lot actually on your pages that stood out to me, and it was your raw and real opinions on the so-called race issue in America. And while I do believe that there are certain people who would rather certain races be superior, I'm never gonna sit on the mindset of overall supremacy in America. I think the people that complain the most about America, which will be actors and athletes and you know, uh, even some people in these neighborhoods, some of the ones who complain the most about America have benefited the most from America in a lot of ways. So it's like you can't have it both ways. Either you hate America and you're not going to accept the freedoms that you've been graced with, the paychecks that you've been graced with by white business owners, but you can't have it both ways. You can't shake white hands and take pictures with white people 1 minute, and then as soon as the media says you guys hate each other, then bam, ding ding, the gloves are on, and we hate each other because the media said so. So it's blatant hypocrisy, and and I just think it needs to stop. Where do you sit when it comes to the idea that America is built on white supremacy?
See, here's where even using that term becomes kind of bothersome to me. White supremacy, okay. Well, there's going to be a certain amount of numerical advantage that whites have in this country that I wish everyone would just take a deep breath for 1 second, take a deep breath and understand that white Americans, Caucasian Americans, non Latino, non Hispanic, whatever they check off in the box, they make up 67% of the American population right now. So there's a certain amount of numerical power that they will have in this country. Okay? We need to accept that. We need to stop acting like we are blind to the fact that there are more of them than there are of anyone else. Pretty sure last I checked, the black or African American descendants make up 12.8%. I believe it was 13 or 14% when I was a child. So, in the 90s, I'm pretty sure that percentage was a little bit higher, but don't quote me. I think they say Latinos are coming up on 11%, and then like Asians 9%, or Pacific Islander, Indian, whatever. Okay, we need to understand that white people are going to make up the numerical majority. Okay, it does not behoove us, whether you're LGBT, female, black, Latino, Muslim, whatever. It doesn't behoove people of color or so called disadvantaged groups, which apparently includes white women for some reason. Um, it doesn't behoove us to continue this racial divide and continue spitting in the face of the people that we are going to eventually need to work with, work for, work alongside, take as clients, or have them take us as clients. This idea of spitting in the face of the very people that we need to be aligning ourselves with is ridiculous to me. It's ridiculous to me. And there's a certain amount of low self esteem that I think is mixed into all of this victim mindset and this, fear of white supremacy mindset. There's a certain amount of low self esteem where people honestly believe, people of color or disadvantaged groups, disenfranchised, isn't that the word they use all the time?
Right.
They need it as part of their identity. It's like water to a fish for them. They can't breathe without the idea that someone else is responsible for their misery, their failures, or in many cases, like you're talking about with the actors, actresses, and athletes. Okay, they, as the bourgeois class, have been manipulated by communist ideas for so long that if they don't go back and repeat the very doctrine that their success alone disproves that it to be true, this white supremacy thing, if they don't repeat that to the public, they lose their standing, they get blackmailed, and that's why they do what they do. There's too much at stake for them to lose for people like T.I., people like LeBron James, people like Beyonce. There's too much at stake for them to lose to speak out and talk about independence. Talk about emotional independence from the victimhood. Talk about financial independence from the government. Talk about family independence from these generational curses. They don't want to talk about that because then that requires work. And niggas don't want to do shit. So that's all
Right.
I can say.
Right. No, you're exactly right. They're all puppets, and when you have, you know, um, when you have overhead, when you have what's the word, when people are controlling you, what's the word for that? Handlers. When you have your handlers, your opinion doesn't matter. You don't matter. It's all
Mm-hmm.
about your image and how they can profit off of your image. And realistically, a lot of these people don't have anything in the end. They're just given the opportunity to do what they love by being musicians, by being actors, rappers, whatever walk of life. You're given the opportunity by these handlers because they can snatch it from you immediately.
Exactly.
They're all manipulated. They're all what's the word, compromised,
Oh,
and
yes.
a lot of them have a lot of significant dirt on them, and that
Yes.
goes way back to, I mean, the things that they have them do and get it on film, and that's insurance. Like, if you mess up, this is going to hit the public. That's how they made Cat Williams look crazy. What's that? I like that. Wait, do that again so we can see it. I like that. I like that.
That's when you slay, that's when you preaching. Wow. Okay.
I like that, and that's what they're trying to do. It's like, we can snatch this from you because we gave it to you. You're talented and all that, but you would not be here if we didn't let you, because we are the elites. And what can they do? What are they
Think
going to do
about
about it? That's how they made Cat Williams look crazy. That's how they made Dave Chappelle look crazy. Mel
yeah.
Gibson, all these actors
Yes.
who try to expose the truth. Immediately, Hollywood made them an outcast. They say they're on dope. They say they're crazy. They say they're hard to work with.
Bipolar.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's easy for people to believe it because everyone expects most actors and athletes and all these people in Hollywood to be on dope and to be crazy. So it's easy to make them an outcast. But the truth is, when you're finding these videos that get leaked online, these are the very people who are trying to expose us to the truths that are now all on the front street. And everyone made them look like they were crazy. So
Mm-hmm.
if you're willing to lose your career, if you're willing to possibly lose your life, then go ahead and tell the truth. And for me, that's a worthy sacrifice.
Okay, because in my opinion, blacks couldn't have always been this way. I think there was a time, maybe in the 50s or 60s, where blacks kind of had a little bit of self respect and they were still well employed and their families were still mostly, two-parent homes. Okay, so we understand, all right, Lyndon B. Johnson, he flipped that shit, okay? And then the Democrats bamboozled everybody for the next 4 decades until people like you and me just started waking up. Um, okay, so does it come from Lyndon B. Johnson? Does it come from slavery? Where does it come from? What went wrong? What went wrong in the last 40 years, right? So I'm thinking about it, I'm thinking about it, I'm thinking about it. Finally, shout out to Trey the NBD. He suggests I read this book called Color, Communism, and Common Sense. So it's a short read. It's by an author named Manning Johnson. What's significant about this book is that we have a former black communist who was working for the Communist Party in, I believe, the 20s or 30s for 10 years. He gave his life to the cause, right? Then he realizes that they're all manipulating everybody. He writes this book in 1958. That being said, I just wanted to read a couple of passages for you, okay? So we talked about the elites, the bourgeois, the TIs and the LeBrons of the world.
Right.
Let me tell you what Manning Johnson said about them in 1958. Many Negro intellectuals, artists, professionals, etc., were carried away with this outburst of interracialism. There was an opportunity to be accepted by the other racial group. Secretly, they had always wanted to get away from the other Negroes. Moving around among whites would somehow add to their stature and the endow feeling of importance. So they went after communist interracialism like a hog going after slop. 1958, okay? So the bourgeois has been used in that way, and just let me give you what their purpose is. So this is essentially the fucking Black Manifesto right here.
Right.
I asked myself, like I said, why do niggas act this way? Why do niggas act this way? And here's where it comes from, okay? Moscow's Negro tools in the incitement of racial warfare place all of the ills of the Negro at the door of the white leaders of America. Capitalism and imperialism are made symbols of oppressive white rule in keeping with instructions from the Kremlin. To one familiar with red trickery, it is obvious that placing the blame for all the Negroes' ills at the door of the white leaders in America is to remove all responsibility from the Negro. This tends to make the Negro, and here's the bullet points. 1. Feel sorry for himself. 2. Blame others for his failure. 3. Ignore the countless opportunities around him. 4. Jealous of the progress of other racial and national groups. Gee, I wonder why Asians are getting their asses kicked by niggas left and right everywhere. Expect the white man to do everything for him. Look for easy and quick solutions as a substitute for the harsh realities of the competitive struggle to get ahead. The result is a persecution complex, a warped belief that the white man's prejudices, the white man's system, the white man's government is responsible for everything. Such a belief is the way the Reds planned it. For the next logical step is hate that can then be used by the Reds to accomplish their ends.
What was the author again?
Manning Johnson.
I'm
So the
seeing
name of
what
the there it is.
Color, Communism, and Common Sense by Manning Johnson. See, it makes complete sense because it does take. If anything, if this year and then of course last year told us anything, is that the responsibility on the part of Black people is they don't want that to be in place. It's like, okay, you should be able to go anywhere, do anything you want, drive anywhere you want, talk crap to anybody you want with no reprimand. Like last year was about Black people doing whatever they want with no consequence, and that's not life. That's not realistic. So if we weren't in the midst of voting times, it wouldn't be that way. We know what this is all about. This is about propaganda. This is about
Mm-hmm.
pandering, and they don't even believe what they're saying. They just know that the Black voice is very powerful, is very strong, is very widespread, and even though you were saying earlier, white people outnumber Black people, the voice is still stronger and it gets more done. And I'm not promoting the race. It's factual. Look at if Candace Owens was white, I don't know if she would be respected the same way. I just
Mm-hmm.
don't think so. Um, it's her delivery, it's her race, and it still shocks people that she feels the way she feels as a Black woman. So it's impactful in that manner. Uh, but with that being said, you know, he's exactly right. You have all these people who want reparations. Where do you think that's going to come from? That's going to come from the white people in government that you hate so badly. You sit around, you don't want to work anymore. You want to sit at home. You think they're wrong for taking unemployment benefits away in these hoods. It's white people too, but I'm more specifically speaking to the Black people who think they're awake and they're still sleeping. You want all these government benefits from the racist government that you say is there, but you want their money.
Mm-hmm.
Where are you doing it for yourself? If you say the voting rules are racist because it's going to force you to get an ID, go get your ID. As opposed to sitting around saying how all these things are oppressing you, what are you doing to come out of that oppression? You're not doing anything for yourself. You're still wanting to reap the benefits of this racist government that you're living so healthily off of. It makes no sense at all. If you hate it that badly, what are you doing about it? Are you getting legislation passed? Are you getting petitions signed? No, you're running the streets and robbing shoe stores.
Right.
That's not going to help your image. It's not going to help your cause, and it's going to get you nowhere.
It's part of this neurolinguistic programming that has gotten passed down from generation to generation and is it is reconfirmed by the media, which panders to this type of behavior, as we can see.
Right.
Never, it's you got fucking Don Lemon on CNN justifying it. You got Chris Cuomo on CNN justifying it. Well, their voices need to be heard. Well, don't you understand that it is black and brown people who work at the stores that they're looting? It is black and brown people who are cleaning up the broken glass after the windows have been smashed. It's black and brown people who are installing new glass. It's black and brown people who then have to come over with the boards during certain times of the year or whenever there's a goddamn protest in San Francisco, DC, Atlanta, you name the city. It's the same everywhere. It's
Right.
black and brown people who are putting up those plywoods and those 2x4s. It is
Exactly.
black and brown people that are losing time off work after these riots. It's disgusting. These people are animalistic. They are ravenous. They are they are scrapping and scraping for whatever shred they think they're owed when it's just easier to live a normal life and just go have fun and just go to work and just get along with other people instead of deciding that you don't want to be around this demographic or you don't want to work for that demographic. Then take your ass to Africa, take your ass to Haiti, take your ass to the Dominican Republic, take your ass to Colombia, take your ass to Belize, take your ass somewhere where everybody looks like you and see how much fun you have, see how much you like it, see how much government programs are going to provide for you.
Okay, let's use the state of Georgia for example. What would happen if we took all the the government hating people, whether it be black, white, whatever race, the people who are on the side of BLM and all that BS there, if we were to take all these people, pool them together from every state in the United States, drop them in the state of, let's say California, it's a bigger state, drop them all in California, right? Leave them to their own devices. How fast do you think California would drift right off into the ocean? The entire, that'll be quick. Next thing you know, everyone will be on an island surfing the state of California in the middle of the ocean. That's what would happen because this very government that they hate so badly, they think they think they have all the answers, all these woke liberals, all these pro-black folks, these BLM supporters, these Antifa people, the people who hate government, hate everything patriotic. Leave
Mhm.
them to their own devices without the government that they say is so racist and see how long they survive. They would kill each other before they make it. Immediately. Immediately. It'd be a massacre. They would kill each other like they're already doing in Chicago. I just had a story pop up from Epoch Times. It says officials say more than 80 people were shot and 14 dead over the 4th of July weekend. This is just over 3 days. And, it's been happening in Chicago, but
It's
did you have
usually like it's usually like 50 or 60 a weekend. Now you're telling me it was 80?
80 and 14 dead? So it's like, this is just in one weekend. The people out there partying, acting crazy. People thought they were fireworks. They were gunshots. That's probably what happened. So you got to
Yeah.
think about it. You got Lori Lightfoot out there talking about people who hate her because they're racist and they're sexist. It has nothing to do with that. It has to do with your lack of efficiency. What are you doing for your city? More importantly, what is beloved Obama doing for the city of Chicago where his career took off in the first place? Your career took
Mhm.
off in Chicago. They
Right?
your career took off in Chicago. You owe Chicago everything. You would not have made it to the White House if your career didn't do what it did in the city of Chicago. But what are you doing for your city of Chicago with all the millions of dollars that you made in office for 8 straight years?
Right.
Did you put any of that money back into these inner cities to build up these projects to get these guns off the streets? You're not doing anything for your city of Chicago at all. I know you're not from there, but you represent that city because that's where you started off. But you're doing nothing. Are people pointing the finger at Obama? No. They
No.
say they say they're blaming the government. The government wants to take the guns away from law-abiding citizens and patriots, but they're not fighting to take the guns away in Chicago. Why is that? Because they want them to wipe each other out. That's the easiest population control you could think of. And
Easy.
people aren't
Yep.
seeing this. People aren't seeing this. They're pandering. The people in Chicago that are running the streets killing each other to vote their way, all the while they're letting them kill each other. And people are not seeing this. They don't care about you. They want your vote. But if you're dead, as we learned from last year, they're still going to use your name to vote.
Exactly. Exactly.
Realize
Exactly.
no one has to be conservative. No one has to be Republican. But you do have to wake up at some point. Believe what you want, but when the truths are in front of you, if you choose not to accept it, you deserve whatever comes after that. That's on you.
18 million black babies have been executed by black mothers over the last almost 50 years. That's a pretty astounding number. Okay, so like, didn't Adolf Hitler, like, isn't he like world famous for like blowing off like 6 million Jews and cripples and gays? Right?
Right.
He's
Yeah.
famous for that, but somehow this is not an. Joseph Stalin killed something like 64 million of his own people. Okay, but when you look at the 18 million black babies in like less than 50 years, how is this not an international crisis that is on the forefront of every frickin' newspaper in this country?
Right.
So when I just look at that and then I combine that with the absolutely self-destructive behavior, and we haven't even brought up domestic violence, like something like 50% of um, domestic violence homicides are black men killing black women.
Really,
Like
I believe that. I believe that.
that's how high. So what that statistic means that if you are in a marital homicide, 50% of the victims are going to be black women and 50% of the perpetrators are going to be black men. Spread across 33 million Americans, 67% of which are white. Like, that's a lot. That's a
Right.
lot.
It
You
is.
know, I just don't know where it's going, and I don't want to be, and no pun intended, I'm not trying to be black pill here, but I think the damage is done. I think we're just going to have to wait another couple of decades, wait till, I don't know, they take their numbers down to from 33 million, and 12% to fucking half of that. I don't know. We'll have to import some Nigerians who like want to learn and want to go to college and want to
Right.
have some families. Like,
Right.
we can import some people who want to be doctors and engineers. They can come here. We're gonna have to replenish the black population. I don't know how. I don't know. I don't know what's next because it's not getting better. It's not getting better, and it terrifies me. It really does.
Well, I think it's not getting better because people aren't allowing it. They're too busy caught up in the news, caught up in the propaganda, caught up in the pandering and all that kind of stuff. They want to sit there and believe that they want to sit there and believe that we're divided. I honestly don't believe in my heart of hearts, and people think I'm crazy for saying this. In my heart of hearts, I really don't believe we're as divided as people think. We actually have more in common than what people realize. Yeah, there are people who are out there who are bigots. There are people. There are black people who are racist. There are white people who are racist. There are Hispanics people. I've experienced racism out of someone's mouth and personally from every race. More so from black folks because they think I'm a sellout. But forget them. But my thing is like there's always going to be opposition. There's always going to be someone who doesn't like a certain race. There's no such thing as stopping racism. You have to stop your own ignorance, if anything. You can't save the world, but you can control your own actions. And if you can make your efforts widespread, you can help people see the light. But you're not going to stop racism because there's always going to be opposition. If people would turn the TV off, go hug that same white person they hugged 2 years ago before the propaganda took over, before the
Yeah,
voting year,
absolutely.
the same white person that you believed in, that you walked your school halls with, that you played on the sports team with, the same white person that you love, the same white boss that signed your check.
Yep.
You had no problem with them then. But when the media says it's time to fire on each other, and the white person that you thought you loved actually hated you all these years, and you believe it, that is why we can't unite, is because we're so media driven that we won't allow it to happen. Those are the people whose money needs to be in the streets, fixing up the city of Chicago, fixing up fixing up in Atlanta. If you hate, if look at Ti from Atlanta and look at the streets of Atlanta, you're doing nothing for your own people in your own city. But then you want to look to government, the racist white government, to come fix the problems that you guys are keeping alive. How does that make sense to you at all?
And here's the thing I hate about Ti, because I actually used to be quite a Ti fan, and I used to watch The Family Hustle. I love his kids. You know, I can't stand looking at his wife's face. I mean, but that's neither
Yeah,
here nor
she's
there.
a tragedy, man.
Oh my God, too much. Oh, and she's always been ugly. Like,
Yeah.
but the plastic surgery just made it so much worse.
Oh my goodness.
Um, so I watch them, and it's like he instills so much fearlessness and confidence into his family, into his wife, into his kids, and then turns around and in the public eye wants to tries to destroy Candace Owens for telling black people the same thing that he tells his children every day, or at least on the show.
Right.
Because
Right.
see, Ti, LeBron, successful people, if you read any Tony Robbins, Grant Cardone, Simon Sinek, Les Brown, all the motivational speakers, they all say the same thing. It's all mindset. It's all neurolinguistic programming.
Right.
Okay, these individuals, these bourgeois, they don't have a victim mindset. They just want everyone else to have a victim mindset. So they are indirectly being placed as basically, what's the word I'm looking for? They're overseers. They're slavery. They're plantation overseers. Okay, these are the real house niggas. These are the real coons. These are the real ones who are shucking and jiving for massa. Okay. Meanwhile, instilling love and hope and confidence into their own children, and then attacking a Republican woman for trying to do the same thing on a grander scale.
Right.
And when he does it, he's being a good father, but when she does it, she's a self-hating house nigga. But I think this is where the communism comes into play, because one thing that was made very clear in this book, and also something I think is being made very clear in society right now, is that it doesn't matter how much you give them. They got Obama 2.0, which is what they wanted. They got the supposedly black Kamala Harris. I know she's Indian because I'm from San Francisco, but um, apparently no one else knows that she's Indian outside of San
Right.
Francisco. I don't get it.
She
All right,
looks
so
more she looks more Indian than black to me. I've always thought that.
if you ever see a picture of her and her sister together, I think she has a sister named Maya or something. Now
Yeah.
that bitch look like she from a Bollywood like ding 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 video.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. I think
she
yeah, they
really
even
looks
have that. I think they
Indian.
had the red dots on their head.
Everything,
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, the point is, when you this is where the social justice stops and the communism begins. They got what they wanted. They got the big man, big bad orange man. They got him out. They took the majority of the House, okay? They got Obama 2.0. They got Kamala Harris. Do they even care now about Hunter Biden's laptop? These people don't care who's a pedophile. These people don't care who's a racist, as long as they get their way. And that is communist mob mentality. And that's why it's never going to end. Because even if you get reparations, even if you get stimulus checks, even if you get checks, and a free apartment and food stamps the rest of your fucking life, they will find something to be violent about. They will find something to be angry about. The assaults on white Americans and Asian Americans will never fucking end. And it's
No, you're right.
getting worse and worse and worse.
Yeah. And that's what they want. They're they're looking at
That's
them as
what
animals.
that is the strategy that the communists have been implementing in this country since the 1920s, and it has never caught fire until now, which is what scares me the most. They tried to come in the 70s. They tried to come in the 80s. They tried to come in the 90s. They tried to come in the 2000s with the damn North Dakota pipeline and the damn Occupy Wall Street. They have made so many attempts over so many decades to infiltrate this country and to find an army of people that are so stupid, so mindless, so entitled, and so insecure that they will do all the work for them. That's what scares me. They they he admitted to this. This is part of the red tactics that he talks about in his book. And I'm watching it throughout history happen little by little. And finally, in my lifetime, in your time, it's finally caught fire. And now we have a firestorm that is spreading across this whole world. Do you know that there's this same BLM shit in England?
Is it?
Yes. Yes.
Hmm.
They're doing the same fucking shit, tearing down statues, protesting, going after people. Antifa's in England, BLM is in England. This shit is insane. So
It
it's
is.
not just our country they're trying to take over, they're trying to take over the entire Western world. It's happening in Australia too.
They're literally tearing down the positive side of history. They're tearing it apart. They want to take down Thomas Jefferson and take down Abraham Lincoln in the U.S. And those were the two pioneers, the two people who did the most, from at least best of my knowledge, did the most to try to diminish slavery. You know, the second Abraham Lincoln was assassinated, the first thing, which we know as the Democratic Party, I forget what they were called back then, the people that we know now to be a Democratic Party, the very first thing they did the second Abraham Lincoln was assassinated was they ratified every bill that he had passed to get rid of slavery and to keep the slavery out of the South. They made sure slavery made it to the South the second he was assassinated. And those same principles that they preach are the same principles that they preach now. The Democratic Party, that whole side has never changed. Do we have people in the Republican Party who are crooked? Do we have conservatives who aren't all about what they say? Yeah, but you have to understand what you're rooted in is what really matters. People are going to have their personal agendas, but the Democratic Party has always been rooted in racism,
Mhm.
rooted in bigotry, rooted in pandering. It's never going to change. And I don't understand how someone could be fed their fears and their ignorance from that same media source that's now telling the truth. That part they don't want to see. That's not the part they want to tune in on. They turn the TV off at that point.
Mhm.
But you got your fears and your BS and your Trump hating material from that same news station that's now telling you that all those things were lies. Like when they said he cleared people from the front of that church in the middle of a problem to take a photo, that was found to be a lie. I still got people bringing that up to me. Oh, I can't believe he did that. It was proven to be a lie. You forgot that part. You missed that part. Come on, and like I can't deal with people
They
who
don't
choose to
care.
remain stupid. If you want to stay stupid without talking to me. I have
Right?
nothing for you.
Right? Functionally retarded.
Yeah, and they enjoy it.
And
Ignorance
they
seems to
do.
be blissful. I guess it's blissful. Maybe I'm on the wrong side. I need some bliss, but I'm not gonna be that ignorant. I can't do it. I'm not built for that.
If I was still a Democrat, I couldn't look myself in the mirror. Reading everything that I've read, watching the documentaries that I've watched, meeting the people that I've met, going to the rallies, the things that I've seen firsthand, the destruction that I've seen in almost every city that I've gone to in the past year. I can't turn a blind eye anymore. I would love to be able to sit by the water cooler and talk about how much I hate Trump. Obviously I don't, but I would love to be able to keep up with the Joneses and just not rock the boat and feel like I'm a part of the clique. But guess what? I ain't in motherfucking high school. And even when I was in high school, I would rather be alone and go do something by myself than to hang out with girls that I felt like were fake. You know what I mean? I
Right.
can't do that, but so many people are so terrified to come out of the conservative closet. They have this weak mindset of, oh, we're going to get them next time. No, motherfucker. Patriot. I'm sorry. No, patriot. Okay. The fight is now.
Right.
It's happening now. People are getting killed now. People are
Yeah.
being assaulted now. So here we are back the blue, and even that mindset has kind of been shattered for me because I've been in so many democratic cities where the blue were the enemy. They were the enemies to the patriots. I don't want to talk about the Capitol, but like essentially it was the same thing there. The blue were the enemy of the Patriots. So now
Yeah.
what do? We got BLM, we got Antifa, we got your regular run of the mill rapists, criminals, and serial killers. Okay, so we got them. Okay, and now we have corrupt politicians raising prices on everything, keeping us poor, not allowing us to flourish, trying to push a vaccine down our throats and down our kids' throats, okay? And then we got the real communists on top of that. This is a lot of stuff to swim through.
The Bible talks about that.
I got the
Talks.
Living Legacy Bible.
I
This
like that.
is from this is from World Harvest Baptist Church, and the pastor there is Pastor Rod Parsley, who I've been
Oh, I
watching
like
on
Rod.
TV.
Yeah.
I've been
Yeah.
watching him on TV since I was 8 years old, and I finally went to one of his services.
Yeah.
I got I got a Bible too.
I like Andrew Womack. I like listening to him. But mainly 2 Corinthians 4:9, where it says persecuted but not forsaken, cast down but not destroyed. That's how I consider this conservative movement, because there's a lot of Christian values and a lot of godly values wrapped up into the conservative movement. Uh, it takes the Republican thing and it takes it to the max. I've noticed a lot of people who are conservative preach a lot of Christian values. They're not perfect people, neither am I, but a lot of them are Christ rooted. And this is definitely a spiritual battle that we're going through. This is nothing that we could beat in the flesh. This is nothing that we can hope to accomplish by waiting for Trump to come back. This is nothing that we can vote someone into office to come fix. This is a spiritual thing. And we
Absolutely.
have to be led by the Spirit in order to get that right person in the office, in order to do what we're supposed to do and show up at these town hall meetings, show up at these school board meetings, uh, get legislation passed, put God back into the government, and not rely on our flesh and get angry and what are we going to do? We can't do this. This is a spiritual battle.
We're at the 11th hour, and prayer might actually be the only thing that can break all of these strongholds. So this isn't like you said, like you don't have to be Republican, you don't have to consider yourself conservative, you don't have to vote for Donald Trump if you didn't, and if he runs again, you don't have to. What this is about right and wrong. This is about
Exactly.
freedom versus domination. This is about um, morality versus Satanism. Okay, there's a lot we're battling through here. So this is to everyone. You don't have to be anything that you don't want to be, but this is for everyone who knows the voice of God, who knows right and wrong, who sees the writing on the wall, who sees the portal opening to the other side, and who wants to get in on this fight, not because you particularly love this country, not because you particularly love Republican values, not because you really are pro-life or gun control or anything, but just because you know that the left has gone too far. And this
Right.
is not the America you grew up in. This is not the America you know. You believe in equality, you believe in dissent, you believe in resistance, but you know that things have gotten too far. So
Right.
this is for you too. So you guys can be a part of our army too, okay? We're all on one team here. This is 2 Corinthians 4. Therefore, since we have this ministry through the mercy we have received, we do not lose heart, but we have renounced the secret things of shame, not walking in craftiness or handling the word of God deceitfully, but by expressing the truth and commending ourselves to every man's conscience in the sight of God. I'm talking to your conscience right now, everybody. But if your gospel is hidden, it is hidden to those who are lost. So now it's time to get bold. The God of this world has blinded the minds of those who do not believe, lest the light of the glorious gospel of Christ, who is in the image of God, should shine on them. For we do not preach ourselves, but Jesus Christ the Lord, and ourselves your servants for Jesus' sake. For God, who commanded the light to shine out of the darkness, has shown in our hearts to give the light of knowledge and the glory of God in the face of Jesus Christ. We have this treasure in earthen vessels, the excellency of the power being from God and not from ourselves. And again, this goes into your scripture. We are troubled on every side, yet not distressed. We are perplexed, but not in despair, persecuted, but not forsaken, cast down, but not destroyed, and always carrying around the body of the death of the Lord Jesus, so that also life of Jesus may be expressed in our bodies. We who live are always delivered to death for Jesus' sake, that also the life of Jesus might be manifested in our mortal flesh. So then death works in us, but life in you. So there is life. There's life in God.
It's going to take individual efforts, outside of government control, government interference, and voting the right people in. We ourselves have to do our part. We the people, you know.
We, the people,
Right.
need to shine the light. We know who to vote for. We're going to vote red down the line. That's what we're going to do. Okay. But we need to get them to understand why they need to vote red down the line. So, like, it's Make America Great Again right now. Okay. Right now.
It is.
That's what we're doing right now. That's the project. That's the vision that everybody needs to get on board with. And then we can splinter later and bitch about dumb shit later. But for now, it's time to get on board. All aboard. And it ain't even the Trump train anymore. It's the right and wrong train.
Yeah,
You
it's the
know.
Save America train because this is our country. No matter what side you're on, we're all profiting or losing.
Mm-hmm.
One way or another. We all want to win. We all want to have meals on our tables, clothes on our backs, and a place for our children to live. And it this is way beyond us and who we think is the better fit for president or how much we think we should hate each other and all that kind of crap. The more we can get away from the media, get into the spirit, and learn what's really going on, this is way deeper than what we're looking at here. That's why it's called deep
Absolutely.
state. This is all demonic. This is spiritual here. The quicker we learn that, the more we can
Absolutely.
unify and start getting back to the America that it was established to be. This is built on Christian foundation and Christian principles. We gotten far away from that because the devil's busy. We have to trust each other again. We have to get away from the media and we have to let God this lead this charge for us because it's the only way we're gonna make it. So, but I definitely appreciate you coming, and we definitely have to make this a regular thing.
Yeah,
It
thanks
is.
for having me on. Just real quick, my websites are down. I have a lot of projects that I've been procrastinating on because I have my own personal issues. But check out my YouTube channel. It is Red Pill Rage. You can email me at redpill_rage at protonmail.com. On Instagram, I am RedPillTV1. On Twitter, I am RedPillTV1. I am on TikTok, Jenny Red Pill, and I'm on Gab and Rumble as Red Pill Rage. So just Google Red Pill Rage, go to my YouTube channel. All of my links are in my description box. So anything you want to find on me, you will find me somewhere, I promise.
There you go. You're everywhere. You're gonna be even more places. I'm telling you, you have the perfect energy for what you're doing, and it's definitely, I say, it's catchy, it's contagious. But we will see everybody soon, and be sure you catch this on Facebook, Instagram, and um, I'm also going to make this into a podcast. So just be on the lookout for all those things and enjoy this. And we'll see y'all soon.